Hi, here we are again with another really interesting video from Memory Smith Computing. I'm Phil, and today I want to talk about consistency. Now, when you go out and buy a big brand computer, these guys, it's assembly line made. Every unit is absolutely identical. Every unit takes exactly the same amount of time to make. Every unit is identical. So apart from manufacturing defects, you should know exactly what you're getting. Now, we are a small business, and small businesses really struggle to deliver the same levels of consistent result as you'll get from the big name brands. But at Memory Smith Computing, I've come up with a system that allows me to do this, and I'm going to show an example today. We're building 3 PCs. These are our standard i5 machine for office and home use. It's our most popular build, and I've developed a system for building all the systems so they are 100% identical. And rather than go through it and make it another really long boring video, I'm just going to record little segments as I put the computers together and show you how I do that. So the first thing you can see is all the parts I'm using are identical. I don't chop and change parts. I use tried and tested parts. I use the same single part every time I build a PC. On occasion we might have to change the case because of stock availability, but the internals remain the same. This allows me to make sure I know what I'm doing, allows me to build it more efficiently because I can put them together quicker. And if we get a part that then starts to show issues, we stop using that part and replace it with another part. The other thing we do is we make sure all the parts that we use in our systems come with a 3-year parts warranty on them, meaning all of our customers know if they do have an issue, it can be taken care of. That said, we are yet to have to invoke that 3-year parts warranty. One of the benefits of having a PC built by us in the office is that if there's going to be a problem with a part, we tend to find that problem before it leaves our office and gets delivered to you, so that we swap it out before it happens and you don't have any problems when the PC gets delivered. In fact, our return rate on these machines as it currently stands after 9.5 years of trading is 0%, and there are around about 3,000 of these units out there in the wild. Anyway, I'm going to start putting them together, and then you'll get a couple of short bursts of videos showing the different stages of where I'm at through the build and where we end up, so you can see we can put multiple machines together exactly the same. Okay, so now we're at the first stage of what I like to do. You'll notice I've taken the cases away and I've unpackaged all of the components I'm going to be using to build these computers. Because every machine is going to be exactly the same. In this case, one of these is for a residential customer, 2 are for a business customer. It's actually a charity that we look after. I like to get everything laid out on the workbench just to make sure I've done a visual inspection of all the components before we start fitting. I've got all the packaging out of the way because we don't want an untidy workshop / office. And I like to have everything laid out so I can actually build the core components before fitting them into the case. It gives my hands the maximum amount of space to move, make sure I can fit everything neatly and be 100% consistent with how all the core componentry is fitted onto the motherboard. Okay, so now we've put the main motherboard components together. I've got the NVMe SSD drive installed. At the moment our standard PCs use a 1TB PCI Express 4 NVMe for office use. We only tend to use PCIe 5 for gaming PCs because these are more than fast enough for office use. Probably get away with PCIe 3, but the 4s are just fantastic. We've got our RAM installed. Note we've actually left a spare slot for the RAM. We've also got a space for a second M2 drive here, the second NVMe. We've made sure to put the mounting point in and the screw in should the client wish to expand their storage moving forward into the future. And the fan has been fitted. We've carefully routed the power lead from the fan round the side of the fan until it's plugged into its power source there. So at this point we're going to start unpacking the boxes or the cases, but at the same time we're going to take a note where the holes are for the mounting on the motherboard. The cases we use do not come with the standoffs pre-fitted, and if they do, we still like to double check them just to make sure that any aren't going to cause any problems. Of specific note is the bottom of the board. Sometimes these two holes here line up with two holes at the back of the case. In this case the bottom hole is offset, so we need to make sure we put all our standoffs in the cases in the right pattern before we then fit the motherboards. So I'm going to crack on and we're going to get the motherboards all fitted into the chassis, and then I'll talk a little bit more. Okay, so we've finished putting all of our disassembled components together into a PC case. Everyone exactly the same. So I'm going to hold it up so hopefully you can see on the video. We've made sure as much cabling as possible is outside of the main case. We've tried to ensure that we've done this, well, we've not tried to, we have done this on all three cases. So all three cases and all three computers are exactly the same. This means if ever I need to go out and service any of the computers, or a member of staff needs to go out and serve any of the computers, all the cables are tied off round the back in exactly the same place. All the cables are routed exactly the same way. Everything is 100% identical, just like with a mass-produced computer. Now, this whole process of building these three computers like this has taken me 45 minutes, and we're just at the stage where we're going to put Windows on there. So we'll crack on with that, and I'll come back to you when that section's finished. Okay, that's all our computers built. One of them's already got Windows installed on it. The middle one we're currently installing Windows on as we speak. The third one, well, we've picked up a problem with the components and we're trying to isolate what the problem is so we can get that resolved. That is the benefit of having a computer built for you rather than being bought off the peg. We find the problems before you get the computer. You don't want to be messing around having to take that brand new computer back to the shop or wherever you bought it from because you've got problems, because it's just been assembly lined out the building with no, well, I won't say no real care, because that could be a little bit harsh. Certain manufacturers do put a lot of care into their products, but we put care into every single machine that gets built inside the office. They're all going to be installed with Windows 11 Pro, they're all going to have our remote support tools put on there, and they're all going to have our security suite put on there as well to keep the machine safe and prevent any nasties coming in from online. That's pretty much it. I best figure out what's wrong with the one that's playing up and get that up and running, so we can deliver that out to our customer tomorrow. Thanks for watching. I hope this gives a bit more of an insight into what we do, how we do, and how much we care about what we do here at Memory Smith Computing. Till next time.
Memory Smith Computing, your complete suite of business and residential IT solutions.